Study to show yourself approved. It's written, but what does it mean? Study to show yourself approved. Let me give you an example. It doesn't only relate to the Bible or to believers. Study to show yourself approved is a statement about someone's attitude. Let's say you're a medical student. You're studying. Then you get your bachelor's. Then you continue and get your master's. Now you're fully graduated. You're a medical professional. Now, after graduation, you should from time to time read medical journals. Why? Because the medical field is changing based on research done. So, being in the medical field, you should continue to read medical journals and to be informed so that you're informed about the developments in the medical world. What if a new medicine is on the market and you have one of your patients asking about this medicine, but here's the thing, you know nothing about it, even though it has been published in many medical journals? In that case, you are in neglect towards your patients and towards your profession. So you continuously reading medical journals and staying up to date about the medical developments, that is studying to show yourself approved. Your attitude is an attitude of responsibility and activity. You participate in the medical field, and because of that, you want to be alert and conscious of what goes on. So you know what to do in case you have a patient that needs a certain treatment, or if you realize that, hold on a minute, there are more things about medical field I'm not aware of, you do your research about it, or you connect with people who know more about it. Okay, let's give another example. Let's say you graduate in IT in the 1990s. Well, guess what? That you graduated cum laude, so with high grades for IT in the 1990s, let's say 1998, good for you. But IT changed. IT changed a lot, especially the emergence of social media changed IT forever. And you also have cryptocurrency today, which is not immediately part of IT, but it's related to it. So, you graduated for IT in the 1990s. You cannot come with your diploma of IT from the 1990s and expect to get a job in IT today, in 2023. Why? Because in the past 25 years, a lot changed in IT. All right? Or let's say now that, let me use another example. Let's say that you are a salesman, or better, you're a banker, whatever. Well, online banking has become a norm recently. Not recently, has become a norm today. And in some countries, only recent, but in general, for the past, I would say, 10 years, online banking has become a norm. Now, if you're a banker from the quote-unquote old school, where everything was done with checks, I'm sorry, but you're lacking behind. You need to be updated about how banking is today to remain relevant. Look, I know this fashion designer who told me one time, Rashid, in fashion, if you're not up to date, you're out. You're out and nobody looks at you anymore. You're finished. So people in fashion know they need to be up to date with the trends and the fads. Now, all these examples are examples in which you have to be alert, you have to be sensitive, and you have to do your research regularly to stay up to date and relevant. Well, that's what it means to study to show yourself approved. Now, isn't it weird that professionals in the world, whether they are in IT, in banking, or in fashion, or whatever branch you're in, they understand this? Or let's say now let's say you married 30 years ago, and you haven't really paid much attention to your family law. So 30 years after your wedding, you ask about some uncle of your wife, your uncle-in-law, but you weren't even aware that uncle-in-law died 10 years ago. I mean, yes, you married your wife, or if you're a woman, you married your husband, but you should be in touch with your family-in-law to be up to date what goes on over there. You can't think that your family-in-law is the same as it is 30 years ago when you got married. So even marriage counselors know you need to study, so show yourself approved. You need to be up to date, alert, and sensitive about how things are going. You have a child. Your child was born 20 years ago, so your child is an adult now. While you were raising your child, you should realize, okay, that my child is not a little baby anymore. He's a teenager now. So you have to adapt how you parent. You have to study, show yourself approved. If you lack understanding how to parent a teenager, you need to do research. You need to ask people who know how to do it. What I'm saying is, in the world, they understand to be functional and relevant, you have to stay up to date, and you have to be diligent, doing your due diligence, and stay informed. You can't be lacking behind or be behind the facts and expect things to work out well. I mean, if today a company would come out with an ad for MySpace, people are going to laugh about thinking MySpace. A lot of young people don't even know what MySpace is because it's something from before the time. Especially if you're born after the year 2000, you may know what MySpace is because you hear it from older people, but you likely don't have an experience with it. Well, when I was younger, much younger than now, my age 32 now, I had a MySpace account. I know how MySpace was. Then this thing called Facebook came out, which looked quite horrible back then, and suddenly Facebook took over the world. So most people today, when you think about social media, think about Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, those big brands. MySpace, I believe the website still exists, but it's not really that functional anymore. But let me say, if you were a company and you want to use MySpace, you should have done that in the year 2000 or 2001, 2002. Now, 2023, using MySpace, you can think, from which era are you? So any company thinking they can use MySpace now for marketing, nobody's even going to listen to them. They're going to say, the people are going to say you're mentally ill. So in the world, they know you need to be up to date, alert, and sensitive to remain relevant and functional. How come believers don't understand this? You have believers. They became born again when they were 16 years old. Good. And they've been going to church for 40 years. That means they're 56 now. They found a marriage partner in church, all of that. They had children also, they also grew up in church. But they don't even know the basics of walking by faith. They don't even understand the basics of how the blessing works. They don't even understand the nature of the spirit world. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute. What have you been doing for the past 40 years? And one of their children is now interested in the New Age or into all types of dark arts. And when you talk to the teenager telling you, well, I'm not into Satanism, black magic, all that. I'm not into that. It's just interesting that, at least they get things done in life. Mom and dad were going to church their whole lives, but I don't see anything getting done. And this is a big embarrassment, right? That younger people tend to consider black magic and witchcraft as more relevant to their daily lives than the gospel. Why so many believers failed the next generation? Look, you have to stay up to date. For example, you cannot, as a Spanish citizen, go to Cartagena, the Indias, today's just Cartagena, in Colombia today, and apply for a job as a mayor or a servant of a mayor or whatever. People say, what? You're a Spanish citizen, come to the Republic of Colombia? Thing is, it was the year 1808 or the year 1816, you may have gotten away with it. when Colombia was still part of the Spanish Empire. You could have gone there as a Spanish citizen, and you would be a Spanish citizen there also because it was Spain, the Spanish rule, and you could have applied for a job over there. But now, if you're a Spanish citizen going to Cartagena, you have to apply for a visa. You have to get a permit from the Colombian authorities. Things have changed. Things have developed. Well, okay. You understand what I'm saying here? Study to show yourself approved. How many believers are doing it? And I'm telling you, if more believers were taking this seriously, believers wouldn't have been the joke they are today. Tell most people out there that you follow Jesus. And in the Western world, at least they laugh at you like you're a big joke. Tell them you follow Muhammad, and suddenly they show honor towards you. Why? Because Mohammedans get things done. A lot of believers don't get things done. They're stuck in church traditions that don't benefit them, and they hold on to expectations that they should have held on to. So study to show yourself approved, please. Stay alert, stay up to date, so you're relevant and effective. Was it for now. Keep on in Christ and be at peace.